I you know, I think it's really unique, and I just feel like it speaks to Adam McKay's credit because, you know, I'm a huge fan of his anyway, and his movies are like not even movies; they're more like friends of mine. You know, I'll just check in with Step Brothers just to see how it's doing, or Anchorman, and so you know, I feel differently about his movies, and not just because they're comedies. It's just like I love them, and so I wanted to work with him anyway, and then having the opportunity to work on something like this, which is such a departure for him, was really interesting, and I just felt like, you know, his intentions in making this movie were so good. You know, he's freakishly smart, but he's very passionate, and he really wanted to share his knowledge about this, and I feel like, thank God he did, because he has a way of doing it that is so unique to him. It's like he has his own touch, and in the hands of a lot of other filmmakers, it could have been, you know, much more heavy-handed and sort of judgmental, but you never, I think as an audience, feel judged.
As he was on Anchorman, he's incredibly funny, and but I think what separated this movie is that he's incredibly passionate about the subject matter and has a great understanding of it, and felt that he had something to say, and I don't think he said it within this movie.
Well, out of Carrel, I mean,
in the whole film. Did everyone just see the film?
yeah.
There's when you say, I think it's 15 billion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which I just think is such a wonderful moment, because I've never before in a film had a number get me choked up and get goosebumps. You know.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic. The way you said 15 billion. You know, I spoke with Adam, and then I looked at the online material of Mike Bowie, and then I went up and met with him in his office, and we spent the whole day just sitting there in his office. We talked for like 8 or 9 hours straight. A wonderful conversation. He's an incredibly intelligent man. I desperately tried to keep up with what he was talking about, but most importantly, on a very human level, I grew to like the man a great deal. He's someone who's got not only a brilliant mind, but a fantastic heart in terms of the consequences of what happens with this market and the way that it's set up. And you know, there's the obvious things. You get to study mannerisms, etc. With it. And Mike came and visited the set. He was around, and he's going to be seeing the film in New York. So
It really screwed me up because I played a different character. And it was Dave, this man. Same thing. Incredibly articulate and smart. And then I met the guy I was portraying, and my head blew up. It was similar. I spent a day, and we went out to breakfast, and then he invited me over to his apartment, and I met his wife and met his kids, and just a very casual, and it's a weird situation when you meet someone like that, because you don't want to feel like you're examining someone for an experiment, as like, why did you do it this way, and how do you move your finger like that? You know, it's because you don't want to be creepy, but at the same time, you're observing and you're trying to glean as much as you can without seeming like you are. You're just trying to absorb as much of them as you can in sort of a normal way. But he was very forthcoming and very kind, very gracious and generous. He actually came to set a few times as well, which is odd on your first day of shooting to have the person you're portraying standing at the monitor watching.
He walked up to me and said, "You look nothing like Vinny."
Yeah, he's very outspoken, a very unfiltered sort of person. But
Scenes with these fine folks here, and what was it like to sort of film the movie on your own like that? How fast did you film your scenes, and what did you think when you saw it all put together?
we filmed very, very fast. When it's just one man in an office with dialogue, you can film very bloody quickly. I loved it. I loved just being by myself and shooting. It's a good way to work. I'd recommend it for anyone. you can pack so much in, and then I don't know if anyone else has said, remember that Adam tends to work with a mic, and so then you sort of get the voice of God, you know, appear in the office telling you your crap or whatever it is. A very funny thing he's doing to try to make me crack up during the take. But really interested in that case to see the final result of the film, because I had no idea about any of the rest of it whatsoever, and they're also bloody fantastic. It's really, really very proud to be a part of it. It was so much better than I expected it to be.
Wow.
The language is so dense and so complicated and so specific, so to be able to sort of, you know, improvise on that level was a whole other, you know, was a whole other experience. You know, he would just yell out through a microphone and just go like, you know, like, hey Ryan, you know, just, you know, lay into him about your negative carry. Go ahead. Right now? Yeah, just hit him about your negative carry. Go for it. He'd expect you to have something in your pocket and be ready to play. No, it was like cramming for a test every night. You know, I think. I mean, and all of us were just sort of trying to share information. I mean, Strong was the only. I mean, you're an actual. You're a financial analyst right now, aren't you? I mean, he was, no, but Strong actually. He really learned this stuff. I mean, he didn't learn how to remember it. He really learned it. It was really impressive. Tell everybody how it works.
You afterwards and saying, I feel sick to my stomach, and it's a good thing. You know, like they're sick because of the content as opposed to your performance or the quality of the film. Like in a good way. There's something in a good and transcendent way. Not to just kind of step outside of the scene and enjoy his company. You know, he's so much fun and really makes me laugh. Like, legitimately makes me laugh hard, and is such a good improviser. And he was coming up with stuff, and I don't know where it was coming from, but to me that was the most difficult part of it all, was to just, because my character doesn't have a great sense of humor, and to be watching his antics through this was difficult to kind of stay in.
Mine was a similar experience, but just thought on myself.
No, I was just going to say the same thing. It was like, you know, I was kind of marveling. Ryan is just like got Quicksilver in his blood when he's just, and has it all in his fingertips, and he's improvising. He's so present, and it was very hard to not it was really hard to not laugh. There was a day where you were humping the table to make the tower blocks collapse, and I was fighting really hard to stay in the dynamic of, you know, Vinny's a dark guy, and he wasn't having it, so that was really hard.
That stuff's supposed to stay on set. Stay on set.
And it was during lunch, wasn't it?
Yeah, I learned so much from the script, and then obviously, you know, getting to sort of spend some time in this world and having the benefit of working with these financial analysts who are there just like sort of devoted to every question you have. And then watching the film I learned, and so, and even through talking about it, you know, so there's so much to be, you know, it's a lot to retain, you know, and but I just sort of admire that Adam and Michael Lewis sort of felt like that it's something that you can retain and believe in you enough that you know that you can understand it, and it's very inclusive, and I don't know, it would be hard to pinpoint